Hello.
Hi.
How are you?
Yeah, I'm good, thanks.
Good, good.
How are
Good.
you?
I'm doing pretty good. I was curious if anybody was going to be here today because it's a US holiday, but figured we go ahead and do the training anyways. So
Yeah, I was
I'm
curious
glad to
too.
see you here.
I just signed up on Friday, so I'm pretty new.
Oh, awesome. That's great. Yeah, I think I remember seeing your name this morning actually. If I'm not mistaken, there was something that you still needed, right? If I'm not mistaken, or was that am I thinking of
Mm,
somebody else?
couple of things. I thought I hadn't received the snapshots, but actually I had, and they'd gone into the emails had gone into my spam folder. Um,
Oh, okay.
and the other thing I queried was I kept getting sent an email saying you need to do the onboarding document, and I did it twice, but I kept getting the email. So I think they resolved
Hmm.
that. I got a confirmation.
Okay, good. Okay, great, man. Well, I want you to make sure I want to make sure that you have a an awesome experience here getting started. So, um, I'm gonna put my email in the chat for you here. I'll just send it to
Okay,
you
cool.
directly. And if you run into any bumps while you're trying to get things set up, please let me know, and I'm happy to help you out.
Great, thanks.
Yeah, no problem. I okay. Let me go ahead and push this off to our Facebook here, and I'm gonna dive into communities just a little bit here today, and we'll see what we find. Alrighty, there we go. All right, we're live in Facebook now. So hello everybody. The stream is probably just starting up for you. Um, Happy holiday. Hope everybody's had a relaxing uh, Monday here. And one of the things I thought would be fun today is we're just going to take a look at Highlevel's community feature, which is pretty new, and been waiting a little bit for just a few more features to get released and all that kind of stuff before we cover it. But one of the things that I'm excited about with communities, or at least the idea behind communities, is uh, many of us as marketers, when we are looking to build a new community, you know, we're trying to find a place that we could put that community where we have control over it. And depending on the content that's going to be in the community that we're starting, some of us gravitate to certain social platforms over others that might be better for that type of content. However, no matter what social platform we pick, we're obviously always still kind of handing control over to somebody else with respect to uh, their decision, like a TikTok or a Facebook's decision to keep us up and running, or to essentially kind of shut down our business overnight, which has happened to many of my friends before. And one of my friends here recently had that happen, and it was about a seven-figure loss before he was able to get back into his Facebook account. And so there are upsides, obviously, to bringing people into a private community as opposed to using a more public venue like Facebook or TikTok or something like that. Um, but there's still a lot of people that do it. There's a lot of people that take their communities to Discord or even Slack or places like that. The issue is when you take your community. Hey, Charles. Um, when you take your community to like a Discord or something like that, um, where it really excels with messaging side of things, same with Slack, you can have all your members messaging back and forth, and that side is typically strong. However, where it starts to become a challenge is if you have a lot of people in a community like that. And some of the crypto communities are like this. I'm thinking of one of the crypto projects I've always kind of been into is the Helium project, if anybody knows what that is. But then their Discord, there is just an insane number of people. And I mean, Midjourney is the same way for anybody who uses Midjourney. If you're in the Discord, it's just like crazy town because there's so many people in there. It's hard to ever, I mean, you type a message and literally a second later, it's already buried in a thread. And so you really need a wall, kind of like Facebook has, or any other platform, I guess Instagram as well, where posts can algorithmically be, pardon me, for some reason I'm having trouble saying that word, algorithmically be featured at the top of the wall, and so on and so forth, based on how many people are liking on those posts or commenting on those posts and all that kind of stuff. And so that's where you have folks like Sam Ovens, if anybody knows who that is, kind of creating their own apps to facilitate community development, kind of dipping their toes into the world of creating kind of like private social media groups and that kind of stuff, which I think is an interesting space. It's been hard for anyone to really get a ton of traction in that space so far, but if anybody can do it, Highlevel can do it. And so we're just going to take a kind of a quick look at that feature inside Highlevel right now and where it stands. And so let me just share my screen and I'll show y'all. Alrighty. There we are. All right. So this is the communities feature inside Highlevel. And the way that you get to this, they're kind of treating, private communities like a membership type activity, which I think is probably true. And so if you hover over your memberships on the left-hand side in the main menu, and then you go to the communities at the top, you have this ability to create a group. And just to show you guys, when you go to create a group, there's going to be a name, slug for the URL, a description, and some branding, and so on and so forth. So pretty basic setup. And then once you have your group, which I just right before this created a little sample group. And it's interesting, it's very simplistic right now. And I don't know if anybody ever used inside Facebook groups. They were sort of prototyping this feature for a little bit where you could have different walls within a Facebook group. And so you could have different posts on those separate walls. And Facebook, I believe, has decided to not move forward with that feature, but there's kind of a similar dynamic going on in here in the Highlevel communities feature where you have a wall right here. So, I could go leave a post and I could just call this post, some information. And then down here, we have pictures, videos, attachments, links. But notice how here I can select kind of like a channel over here that I want to add the post to. And so if I go to publish this post, if I'm sitting here on the home, this is going to be an aggregate of all the various different posts that are in these channels over here. So, I'm thinking about like a Snapshot community or something like that, where, we have different topics, I suppose, going on here represented by channels, and people could add those posts to the channels. So just kind of like raw opinion of mine, I think that I'll put it this way. I think that people typically, when it comes to social media platforms, do whatever is in their best interest. And so when it comes to having people organize posts and, select channels and all of that kind of stuff, more often than not, folks don't take the time to actually put things in the right places or necessarily know what places to put things in. And so I'm kind of interested to see, how this goes. I think if I was to set this up, I would likely have kind of like a channel that's like general. And that's like the first one that shows up. So anybody can add things to that. But if they want to get more granular, they could select the others. And then I would just be curious to see how many people actually do select the others. But again, I think it would be likely kind of intrinsically self-motivated in the sense that if someone felt like another channel gave them higher visibility on their posts, I think that's something that they would do. But outside of that, I'm not sure. I'm just curious to see how that kind of goes. So that's something. The other thing that is interesting is I can't tell yet. Um, I'd have to get a few people in here kind of interacting to see how this goes, but I did experiment with the notice here. I added just a comment down here. I just said test comment. And typically in a wall type of structure like this, if there's a comment or a like or something, that would sort of elevate the post up to the top, which is kind of the whole point of having a wall instead of like just a flat message thread. And it looks like you sent me yours. I'll click on yours in just a second, Charles. But anyway, yeah, maybe I'll just click on yours right now, Charles, because what it looks like to me is that these are just getting dropped in chronological order and they're not
Yeah, they are. That's
sorting
one of the
themselves.
downsides right now. So if you if you have someone that comments, because there's no notifications inside of this yet, so it's really easy to you post something, you literally have to go back to where you posted it, find it, see if anybody's commented on it. It is in chronological order. But no, I threw mine in there because I have some different channels and more content in it. So
There you go. Nice. Yeah, so without the notifications, how long have you been using this, Charles?
I've been playing around with it since shortly after it came out in beta.
Okay. Have you found that other people are kind of liking and commenting in here, or is it
The
not really yet?
participation has been kind of low because there's no notifications.
Mm-hmm.
It's the biggest, so we're still running our Slack channel.
Mm-hmm.
And because, it's one of the users will post something, I'll comment on it. But I have to check it. I mean, I keep it open all day and just refresh every now and then to see if anybody's posted anything. But they don't get notified if I do respond to it. So
Mm-hmm.
they may not come back in until 3-4 days later. And then, so yeah, it's not quite there yet. But I think it's definitely getting there. It's definitely a powerful tool to incorporate this in, you know, your program, whether it's, you're doing however you're selling Highlevel or packaging it. It can definitely be a huge, huge plus. So
Yeah, I saw let's see, what did I see? I'm looking for it right now. I saw a post from Highlevel. Where was it? Let's see here. Da, da, da. Custom fields. Not that one. See if I can find this here in discussion. community.
I know that the last updates that they did, they enhanced the mobile view, which it's not a PWA yet. That's supposed to be coming down the pipeline at some point, having a PWA for communities. And then they released the badging so that you can tell who's an owner, who's an admin. And I think that was really about it on the last update. But the pictures, the pictures are easy to put in, photos and videos when you're making posts. They've made it pretty easy as far as that goes. You can go back and edit the names of the channels if you need to.
That's nice. And
reorganize
I do
them.
like how the learning modules can kind of be in here.
Yeah, that hasn't been released yet, but that's just a placeholder right now. So
got it.
I think what the thought is that you could have some that are packaged in with your community. So when they do click the learning, they'll see whatever courses are packaged in with the community, but then you'll still have all your courses in the 9 dots where you can. So I'm not sure how they're going to do that, but
yeah, because I think that back here in the membership products, there's no way, right, in like details or anything to associate them with the community.
Yeah, I know it hasn't been released yet, but I just don't know how they're going to release it. If it's going to be just getting rid of the products page, and or the courses page and have it all come in under learning, or if you're going to be able to associate certain courses with your community. Which makes more sense doing it that way.
Yeah. Yeah, it looks like probably notifications and having like an algorithm drive the posts in here. For me, those would probably be the two baseline features that would be a necessity before it becomes actually usable in terms of moving a community over. I mean, it could function as like an announcement board of sorts.
Yeah.
I'm thinking, like if we had something like this for snapshots, and we have kind of like, snapshot related announcements, updates, things like that, maybe hitting the board. Is that something that you would find useful?
Oh yeah. Yeah, because I would be more apt to go into here to see, and you could do each channel as, you could create a snapshot community and have channels for the different snapshots. And so there's just, I would be more, because I never go into the lessons, the courses to look at the updates. It's just the last place I think to go look for an update on a. So having something like this would be nice.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. It looks like also you can't tag people, right? Like if I wanted to comment here, I guess I have to be logged into yours anyways to comment. But like, if I was to go here and try to like tag myself, it doesn't look like there's any attribution on that. Which, if there's no notifications, it would be kind of pointless to tag somebody anyways. But that would be another probably pretty essential update, I would imagine, just to kind of get like baseline functionality with other social networks. Well, cool. So we know right now that probably an announcement type board would be the best utility until a few more features come out. But I'm glad to see them working on this, and I think that this could be huge if they can dial it in just a little bit more, especially if they get the courses lined up. It'd be sweet if you could tag the courses in discussion also, like if you could tag lessons and stuff like that. Yeah. I wonder what all ideas they have in the backlog right now for this. I'll have to take a look.
Well, I can only imagine.
Yeah, right. Well, that was I just wanted to kind of update everybody on my thoughts around the communities. There was a few folks asking, even some of the folks on the Extendly side, we've been kind of talking about communities and if we should use it at all. So I think this little deep dive has helped me kind of figure out where I think we could and could not use it right now, at least in its present state. So what questions do you guys have? Anything I can answer for you before we shut it down for today?
Hey, Zach, Sean. How you doing, Charles? I didn't know you guys were going to be on today. So I have, I'll share my screen real quick. I have this popping up in my, the small business snapshot. I had installed it, the version 1. And when I try to kind of open this up, I get this. There's a problem with the snapshot. Your license key is inactive.
This is the first version, right?
Yeah.
So this happens when I saw your email, by the way, Sean. I just haven't had a chance to get back to you yet. But this happens when you haven't licensed it yet in the first version of Extended Dash.
Okay.
And
that's a great question, because I did go in there and I thought that was the case as well, and I went in there and I actually put it in the Extended Dash, but it still was showing that. I can show you. Let me. I ended up by accident. So this is Extended Dash. Or maybe it was a wrong. No, I didn't do it in Extended Dash. I think I did it here. Snapshot verification. 2 different things. Yeah. So this is not where I'm supposed to set it up at. Then this is where I did it.
This is the right spot.
Oh, okay.
But
so yeah.
But you need to add this version of Extended Dash is a little bit more complicated than our newer one. So Master Ultimate Small Business version 1.0, I'd imagine that's probably the sub account where you have it installed, right?
Yeah.
So you should be able to.
Is there a new dash? Is there a new Extended Dash that I'm maybe missing somewhere?
Yeah, you pulled it up right before this. It's where onboarding engine is and stuff, but that version of Extended Dash doesn't work with the older products right now, at least. So you'll still need to go through this one for version 1 of the small business, but you're gonna have to put a location API key and location name, and then snapshot name. If you add the location API key in there, that should fix it. Just that one field.
Okay, I'll do that. And thanks,
One
Charles.
thing I've had to do, if that doesn't work, putting in the location API, I've had to go in and I would delete the record and then add it again, putting in the API key for that sub account first. Okay. Giving it a second, and then picking the snapshot name. And then it should dynamically pull in the location ID from the API.
Okay, perfect. I'll do that, and I'll just follow up an email, Zach, if it's still not working. But thank you both. I appreciate you.
Yeah, no problem. All right. One thing I since I have you on, Sean, and Charles, you both are on. I'd pinged you about this, Charles, but I might just ask you real quick right now while you both are on. But so with respect to the delivery, you guys both went through the onboarding for the new small business and got the modules and all that kind of stuff. And I know, Sean, I think you're probably it's more of a kind of like starting on the journey. And Charles,
Yeah.
you might be like a tiny bit further down the road. So I'd be interested for both your guys' perspectives. But one of the things that I've thought about doing potentially, and this is just an idea, so if anybody is watching the replay of this, there's no commitments on this front yet. This is just getting feedback. But would it be helpful to you guys? Would you have value in, let's say it's the small business bundle, of all the various different modules, and those modules have a lot of ways that you can use them together, obviously, but one of the things that we could do potentially is connect all the modules together and kind of do some of that wiring, through the tag router, all the tag routers in each of the modules, and deliver, one bundle link that is essentially all the modules connected together in one snapshot link. And one of the things that we've thought about doing is maybe kind of switching over a little bit during the delivery to actually delivering the bundle link first, during the onboarding, where everybody, where folks get the whole package kind of together. And then in the event that they want, if they want, the flexibility essentially of getting all the individual modules and being able to kind of do what they want with those, then that could be something that we could do in addition to, or as like, I don't know if it's something that folks would request, or potentially we even have like a little snapshot building or snapshot customizing community where that's happening inside of the context of that community. What do you guys think about that? Is that something that you think you guys feel would be a good idea? Would that simplify kind of like the onboarding for you, or help to be able to see sort of like how we would connect all of them together?
So Charles, you want to?
Go ahead, Sean.
So in my experience being brand new to it, there's two things. One, with the onboarding, there's so much that I think it requires more than either more than that one session, or two, more of a one-on-one, because in the group setting, for both of those sessions, we never got through the whole thing. So there's a big gap of, okay, what else do I do with everything else? So that's one. And then two, if you're going to do in my opinion, if you're going to do the bundles, I think that's a great idea, because then it people then know that that's one bundle together. Because in our case, you had to kind of figure out, hey, send me which links, which ones go with what. But then also as maybe an automated follow-up, instead of waiting for people to possibly ask, it just we just get sent the individual ones, after maybe automatically. So it's just not more work on you guys and requests to get those things individually. So that's my takeaway.
You're saying an automated follow-up, like, would it be helpful, do you think, if we followed up after onboarding with, like, let's say like just like a check-in, hey, how are things going, and like a 15-minute personal calendar or something like that, if somebody wants to book, if they just have some little follow-up questions or something like that? Is that kind of what you're thinking?
Yeah, like one off of the main call, especially if you don't get through the whole thing. They're gonna need some other. I know I needed some other kind of assistance, or more of an understanding of other things that was not touched on. The onboarding call was amazing again, but it was just not. It just didn't finish. Just didn't get time to finish. And so yeah, follow up on that would be amazing. And yeah, that's my takeaway.
Okay. And you think, but you would like to receive a version of everything, of all the modules together and already kind of pre-wired, so to speak.
I would personally like, because I end up taking, like, even now, we're gonna end up taking those. You know, it was back and forth, so we had to, once we got them, then I had to kind of follow up to find out what goes with what, and then you had to take more time to resend that, and then I'm gonna end up bundling them together anyway. But then it's always good to have that set individually. Would I ever actually end up using it individually? I don't know. And for people that maybe later on in the stage, like Charles would probably know, hey, I'm gonna do these types of things. But for me at this early stage, I just wouldn't know until that happens. I'm not experienced enough to know when I would ever do something like that. But having it is there, opposed to not having it, to me is just better, so that I don't have to then reach out to you guys, and then you don't have to kind of, based on where you're at and what you're doing, stop and then try to get those things to me and how much ever other customers are on it. So it's just kind of like an automated thing that they get the link for the bundle, and then they get the follow up with the individual ones that belong to that bundle. And then this way, there's no need to kind of a bunch of back and forth. That's my take on it.
So just one more question, just for clarity. So if you got the link to the bundle, do you think that the individual modules that make up that bundle would be something that you would even still want? Or if I'm hearing you correctly, you're saying...
Yeah. I see, and that's the thing. So when you present, like, it's kind of like presenting more options. So when we're on, and this again is just my takeaway, when we're on the site, and we're looking to, let's say, purchase a bundle, it's like $200 to purchase that bundle. Now, I guess in my mind, I'm expecting the one snapshot link. The only time it becomes, now I'm aware that there's several things that go into this one snapshot, is when I'm then sent those several links, and I'm like, oh, now it's the question. Now then it was a question of, okay, what goes with what, So when I think all those individual links are presented, then then it's like we become aware that those things now exist, opposed to if we had just gotten the one link, it would be like, okay, this is the link for this particular pack, and that's it. I don't know how much times, again, that's probably more experienced question for Charles, but I don't know how many times within a pack, let's say like that someone would break those things up and use them individually, because as far as I understand, they're complete sets. So for the most part, for me, I probably would never look to I'll separate, like, the let's say it's the appointment setting pack, whatever that one is. I would never look to say, let me break this up and put it in. I would just install the pack, and whatever I don't use in it, I won't use in it. That's how I see it.
Okay. Thank you, Sean. That helps a lot. I appreciate that. What about you, Charles? What do you think?
I mean, I think for me, so it was, I think for newer people that don't fully understand how snapshots work, or they're just newer to Highlevel, I think putting it down to like one link for the micro bundle, or if they buy all four, doing it as, I think the micro bundle is probably as low as you want to go, even for a new user, because of, and I'm trying to think of how Extendly on their sales and coaching calls, they tend to say, hey, don't give them the whole platform. Do one thing for them. So I think having the micro bundle will help reinforce that, what's already being coached as far as the sales and marketing and advertising side of the SaaS agency. But, from that point, because I think it could get very confusing, having every single module individually. That being said, that's how I prefer it. But I'm much further down the road. Yeah. So like, I mean, I'm sitting here making out a Miro board because I know what I'm going to end up doing is I'm going to have a sub account for each of the micro bundles that each of those modules will feed into. So I'll have a sub account for each module, and I'll have a sub account for each bundle, and then I'll have a sub account for small business 2.0. So that way, and I know that, and it's just a process, but this way, when you release, say, B005.1, I can upload it to that module's sub account, refresh, push it. That'll push it to my bundle sub accounts. And then once I have that done, I can push that bundle I can refresh it and then push it again for my ultimate small business. I mean, it's 3 steps that I have to take every time there's an update, but that way I know no matter who has what, they all get the update moving forward, no matter how they check out. And I think that's the part for newer people that will be stupid confusing. Oh gosh. Yeah. I mean, because even myself, I mean, I have to have a Miro board to look at to make sure that I'm like, okay, which one is this even in these other ones? Because 005 is, yes, it's in Ultimate Sales, but it's not in Conversation Management. So I don't need to refresh that snapshot. You know, it's a lot of moving parts. That being said, you know, with the onboarding, for me, the onboarding didn't answer any questions. Because all my questions are going to be totally different than someone new. Like, I get it. Okay, yes, we're importing and loading it into a sub account. I know how to do that. I need to know how to leverage this even better. You know, how are you guys going to be doing updates? Are you going to do them by each individual module, by, you know, groups? What's the best way to structure this based off of how you're going to roll out updates? And like mine's more, I'm going to have more detailed questions that you just can't get into. You don't want to get into with a bunch of newer people to Highlevel because it'll just confuse them. They'll think they have it, which for them they do because they're taking the simple approach to it. But then you get someone advanced in there and they're like, I'm totally lost. Am I doing something wrong now? Do I need to do it the way he's talking about? And it's like, no, you don't need to do it this way. This is a more like, once you get way more comfortable with the platform, sure, you could do it this way, but you don't have to do it this way. So I think mixing the two kind of groups, and maybe it's in your checkout, you know, in your checkout form, or something, you ask the question, you know, on a scale of 1 to 5, how would you, you know, rate your level of understanding of Highlevel? And if they pick anything less than 5 being extraordinary, don't put them in the advanced meeting and just lead the advanced meeting to 1 time a week. You know, or however you want to do it. I mean, it doesn't have to be as often, I don't think, because a lot of those people that are 5 probably won't even go to the onboarding because they understand most of it. They're only going to go if they have very specific questions that are going to be based not on Highlevel per se, but more on the snapshot itself or how it's structured. It's not going to be around Highlevel stuff. They're going to already know how to do all that.
Yeah, we could separate the upgrade from new purchases, which is probably wise. You know, folks coming in upgrading off the previous version are already going to be a little further down the road in general. So one question on the bundles. So if you know, let's say the small business snapshot, you know, is in general trying to remember the total. I want to say it's like going to be a total of in the ballpark of like. Well, actually, I can look here. I was trying to remember the total number of modules. In fact, so just so I could be precise, let me look.
And that's very, very well said in terms of what Charles said in terms of how things are broken up based on who you are coming in. Because he's right. Actually, when I started, I was like, okay, cool, I got this. And then when I got all of those other modules, I was like, oh, I don't got this. He's absolutely right. So that would be very helpful. And by the way, Charles, would you happen to have that mirror board available to anyone if once you're done with it? That looks like it's really puts a lot of things.
Yeah, I'm still playing around with it, trying to get it structured to where it's as easy as possible to read, and because I'm going to have basically a list to where, okay, this is the equivalent of, this is quick start 2.0, this is small business 2.0, and then I'll have a sub module master list that has all the modules, the number, and then what they are, like foundation, list cleanup, and then I'll have each micro module broken into a box, so which numbers go with what.
That made it so much
more
I've
just got to go back through it, and then I'm still waiting, I think, on which we got the 13. I have to look back to my emails because I haven't even downloaded I kind of stopped downloading them because I'm like, okay, let me wait until this is small business 2.0 complete, and then I can go in and make sure I have everything set up.
One follow-up question. So I just looked. So the small business is going to be a total, once they're all released, of 15 modules, and so that will essentially be like right now we have 4 micro bundles built on those modules, and so a fifth one, would basically kind of give us essentially 5, micro bundles will make up like the total small business 2.0, if that makes sense. And so do you think it would be valuable for somebody to receive, one link for the whole bundle?
I think you should
with
ship
everything wired together, or ship it as five micro bundles?
Because if they're buying the small business, I mean, if you're going to the automation library, and you're getting rid of the page where you have the big snapshots, which from what I understand is the plan, to basically annihilate that page on the website and then just have the automation library for all the snapshots moving forward. That way they could buy the small business. It gets delivered as 5 separate bundles. It just needs to be clear on the information page and the checkout page that, hey, the small business includes the ultimate sales, the conversation management, the reputation management, the contact management, plus small business exclusives like the seasonal communication, database reactivation, lead form automations, and referral automations. I don't know if there's any other modules I'm missing there, but and that way they can, if they do buy the small business, they can break it. They can put it all together into one, and that way, if you make an update to the ultimate sales for you, you're still doing the same thing on your side. So let's say you update, B005, which is payment automations. It's part of ultimate sales. You push out an update for ultimate sales that includes that micro module update. If they are selling ultimate sales all by itself, they can do that, or they can just push it right into their small business 2.0. And the only thing that will change is whatever was changed in the payment automations. It's hard. I mean, when you get into big snapshots like that, it is, you have to pay more attention to any update. But my life is a lot easier because I don't retroactive anything.
Yeah.
So if they're like all my people that are on Small Business 1.0, they're staying on Small Business 1.0. I am not. Heck no.
Well, yeah,
not doing it.
there's there's a continuum, and so I'm trying to figure out how to best, if somebody's brand new on the journey, so they're at the
Mhm.
beginning of that continuum. It's essentially easiest. It's probably easiest, for them to get one link that has everything pre-wired. As
Or you could
you
wait
move
till
a little bit.
onboarding. That's what Sharon does with SaaS in Box, I believe, if I remember correctly. It's
You're
been a
talking
while.
about as far as actually installing the modules inside the account.
You don't
and all
even
that
give
stuff.
them. You don't even give them the link till onboarding.
Yeah.
Of course,
Yeah,
that's if you're doing one-on-one. If you're doing group onboardings, then
well, and we
that'll
could
be a
we
mess. But
we could always start with one link. I mean, it's kind of like one link's the easiest, and then the micro bundles is kind of like
Mhm.
1 degree more complicated, but also 1 degree more flexible. And then the most flexibility, but the most complicated is having every single module available to you individually. And so when somebody gets further down the road and they want to customize and they want to build their own bundles and stuff, having all the modules is probably pretty nice, but I don't want to solve. I feel like we may be trying to solve that problem too early for the folks that are just coming in, that are brand new, and they haven't even reached the spot yet where they have any clients, right? So it's like there's not really a need yet to even start moving things around in bundles or any of that kind of stuff. So I don't know if you have I know you kind of came in halfway, Jay, but I don't know if you have any thoughts on this. And I'll probably shut it down after this convo, but I appreciate your guys' feedback. We're just trying to make this process awesome for everybody. So really helpful to get your guys' opinion.
Well, I'm one to over-engineer everything and chase the shiny before I've got customers. So I went to town after our last discussion and rebuilt my own Snapshot asset manager, and looked at automating through Make, importing your snapshots, having literally just rotating through modules, creating my master module snapshots, and then there's no API. We had a look, Jacob and I had a look, and there's no API that allows us to do to create a snapshot. You can only create a location from a snapshot. So you couldn't, kind of go from your snapshot to sub account to snapshot to sub account, the bundle. So you go module and then into bundles, that kind of thing. But I did go and actually, my thought process is, would I go and create customer accounts using the modules, or would I bother going to bundles? And bundles being, and I actually totally agree with Charles. I think you have to put out the small business bundle as it is, because me digging into this, at a module or even a micro bundle level, it's like, it's too much, and it's not too much for me. I love the challenge. I think logically, I'm using these automation tools anyway outside of high level automations, but it's doing your head in. I mean, you need Charles's. I've done the same type of thing in Mirror as well, but you need that, and that's way too much overhead for someone just getting into it. That's an agency that's scaled and wants to offer a massive amount of diversity in what's being deployed. Which is not exactly Charles's model. It's like, hey, you all get everything. So Charles, I don't know why you're necessarily changing your business model.
Just for the update. It's
Right.
just for the updates. So,
Exactly,
and basically, right? I'm going to do the same thing that you're doing. Is I'm going to have a sub account that is Ultimate Sales, and a snapshot will be based off of that. And so, once I have the 5 modules, I'll have sub accounts that are the masters of those module snapshots. But then on my small business, I will import all of those snapshots into it and save that as a new snapshot. And so when I get each individual module, I'll load it into that sub account, refresh the snapshot, push the update for the snapshot, which will then push it to the bundle, then I have to refresh the bundle,
Yep.
push that to the
Put that
next
to
step.
client.
I mean, it's
Yeah.
you just have to be meticulous about it.
Well,
Otherwise,
see,
you'll
and here's my thinking
royally
along,
screw something up.
right. And here's my thinking along that scale. Should I use automation in terms of creating customer sub accounts and actual location? Should I create that out of individual modules, or should I go to my own small business bundle first? The problem that I see with that is you're still really pushing a large update out to get to your customers in a refresh snapshot way. You know, you're having to do all that work, create the small business or update the small business bundle, and then you're pushing all of the changes out. And I thought, well, maybe what I'll do is in the creation of a customer sub account, I'll just push whatever the modules are out. And that way, when I refresh a module, you know, I can just push a change out to all the customers. I haven't had to go to a small business bundle first and then to the customers. I'm just going straight here. Here's the combination of modules into the customer account. And if I want to, and then when I change or refresh one of the modules, all the customers can get just that small change. They don't need to get, you know,
See, and I won't be pushing out the updates to customers.
No,
this is just the only reason I'm doing it is just to make sure that my snapshots stay to the most recent when they sign up. If they signed up before, because I never know, because we don't customize them. They customize them in my model.
Yeah.
So I never know what the heck they're doing. So I can't push updates to them. It could be disastrous because I don't know what they have turned on, what they have turned off, what they've changed. And so it could totally break their system if I push.
So you're just talking
even
about
on
maintaining your own master snapshot.
Correct. Yeah, that's it. That's all I can do with it in my model. I can't. Yeah, it's just not worth the chance of trying to push it. If I was dealing with a specific niche and it was the same type of people in that niche, and that's exactly what the snapshot was geared towards, great.
Yeah,
my model isn't that way, so I can't push updates.
Only relevant in what I would call a managed offering, right? Where you're like, hey, what a niche application just happens to be running on Highlevel at the back end, and I'm controlling that app, you know, and I'll push the little updates and everything out. But in a, you know, that's in a kind of a more of a nearly a done for you style, rather than a, hey, just grab whatever we've got at the point in time and that's what you get.
Yeah, because you're managing hundreds of sub accounts. I mean, God, if it's not a managed offering, I can't imagine how much of a headache that would be to try to retroactively push those updates to every previous customer that signed up on that. Unless it's something like as a complete add-on, like the A2P, like that wasn't going to break anything. That was totally independent, had nothing to do with anything else. That I pushed out to all my previous clients, but stuff that's updating
and I've been
modules.
I've been thinking about this because I've been trying to build my own modular, you know, IP, a product that I want to be able to deploy on to Highlevel as a, you know, as its own independent module. And so I've been thinking about and looking at this type of servicing, as I call it, module servicing or snapshot servicing, well before Small Business 2 came along or the automation library came along. You know, I've been sitting there going, right, I'm going to push this out. It's an app. It just happens to be running on Highlevel. I need a way of servicing that app in a regular way. And I mean, in a fairly regular way, where I'm going to push out, you know, a change log and say, here's the new features and you've all got them. And, you know, I control the feature set that's out there. No customization by the customer. They put their data in it, but it's really me controlling the workflows and the funnels and that kind of stuff.
So as a follow-up question, and then I'll be done. I appreciate you guys answering the questions, but so let's say we rolled back in time and I told you guys, hey, Small Business 2.0 is available. Here's your new link. It was just one snapshot link for the whole thing. But then there was a little bit of a kind of like a segue of sorts where it's like, just so you know, we have this whole thing sliced up into 15 different pieces in the event that you want to kind of like have more flexibility to update things or build things that you want. And then I waited for you guys to say, yeah, I want the 15 pieces. And then I gave you guys the modules. Like, do you think the outcome would be similar to where you guys are now? Or do you think that essentially, because I hear you saying I'm excited about the modules now, but it'd be a lot for someone new, but I'm glad that I have them. My only concern is if I do position it on the backside of kind of the flow, that it's like you don't know what you don't know. You don't know until you actually get all the modules what that even means. Once you get into it, it's like, okay, now it makes a little more sense. I can kind of see it now. But
to try and scale, I don't want to push out the small business in its entirety. I like the idea of being able to take either your micro bundles as my base, or that I create my own micro bundle with, and just kind of push that out. There's a whole segment of niche that I'm targeting that doesn't need a whole lot of stuff. So as it is, I'm updating a customer that I accidentally deployed SaaS to, manually deleted everything after everybody was overwhelmed, and then I figured out that I actually had the SaaS out there, and they don't need reputation management and a whole bunch of other things. They just need a few of the modules out. So
I have to jump off to a meeting, guys, but
okay,
we'll
all right,
talk
Charles,
later.
see you, man. Already.
So I'm kind of glad for the, I think everyone that I've sent the small business bundle to has been overwhelmed. I'm kind of glad for the modules or the micro bundles, either way.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm very happy as well. Same thing with Jay. I'm happy with the smaller bundles, because installing the everything that came in the 1.0, I was like, wow, there's a lot of stuff in here that most people, unless they know what they would need. So in terms of scaling up, I agree with Jay in terms of building those as a person needs them. And then it lessens overwhelm for that individual as well.
Yeah. And there's also one other strategy for small business customers that I've thought, oh man, I think I'd do it this way anyway. And that is, yes, they need and want small business. They can't consume it all in the first 30 days, and I would actually roll out small business in modules or in micro bundles, and kind of attack the onboarding and hey, now let's get to this capability, and then 2 weeks later, now let's get to this capability, and not have to have all the clutter in there when they're just getting going. And so be rolling that out, even if I was rolling out the whole thing, rolling it out in parts.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Zach, one last thing before you go. Just is there an update on the 401 snapshot deployment tricks, the videos? Any update on when those would be pushed to?
I tell you what, why don't I just download the Zoom that I did a couple weeks ago and just send you the link, Sean? Because in the event that I make any changes to things, kind of like based on the conversation I'm having with you guys today, for example, I might slightly restructure how the 201, the 301, and the 401 are set up right now. And so
the Facebook replay link, I just put it in the chat window here.
Okay, is that for the 401 snapshot you're talking about?
That's what he's talking about, adding to the 401. It's the call from Monday ago.
Oh, okay, awesome. Thank you, Jay.
Yeah, just watch that, Sean. That was what I was thinking about adding to the 401, but I think I'm gonna just hold off a little bit longer until I know what I want to do to make these courses make the most sense for people.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you, Zach. Thank you, Jay. Appreciate you both.
Yep. I'll go back and watch the first half of whatever I missed. Did you cover communities?
I did, yeah. We just kind of looked at communities together to see kind of like what the practical use might be right now, with where they're at with the features. So
I thought it was a holiday, and so I was just kind of vegging out. I got back from rally racing at 3 a.m, so
oh, nice.
Yeah,
that's awesome, man.
Okay,
well, no worries.
Yep.
All right, guys, have a good one. Have a good holiday. It's on Facebook. If you just go to the
Oh,
Facebook
it is.
as soon
Okay.
as this ends, it'll be the whole thing's in there.
Awesome. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah.
Yep. Have a good one, guys. See ya.
Want to learn Go High Level in a structured format? Check out the GHLacademy.com by Extendly. We guarantee to save you 6 months of wasted subscription costs for High Level. Just visit the GHLacademy.com.